Hello everybody, Dr. Z here. Today's guitar player just loves to have multiple guitars and pedals and amps to be able to generate unique sounds. And also, to kind of keep them interested in playing, so you have variations. So to the rescue comes Synergy. And Synergy makes some great modules to emulate some of the best sounding tube amps available today. And a new one that they're just releasing now is the Synergy Dr. Z Z-Rec. Okay, those not familiar with the Z-Rec, I'll give you a little history. It's a product that was kind of asked of me to build by Brad Paisley. Brad loves the sound of an AC-30. I mean, its touch, its feel, its tones just kind of hit the spot for him. But the problem is they're not very reliable to be able to take on the road. So he requested that I build something like that in a much more reliable package. So I reached out to my friend Ken Fischer, may he rest in peace, and together the two of us kind of collaborated on building the Z-Rec, which is basically a foundational AC-30 with some twists and turns and a more modern and reliable setup. That was in around 2009, prior to its release in 2010. And we finally got it finished and completed. We were all happy with it. And Kenny named it. Kenny is the one who named it the Z-Rec. One feature that's rather unique to the Z-Rec is the comfort and speed switch. You might wonder what that's about. Well, basically, when Ken and I were designing the amp, Ken tended to like 300 volts on the plates of the EL84s, which kind of generated a little bit of a softer kind of response, as well as a note attack and then a swell after the note by having a lower plate voltage on the EL84s. Myself, personally, I like it about 10% higher. I like around 330 volts, which accomplishes a little bit more of a percussiveness to the tone and a better dynamic, guitar volume dynamic, touch dynamic. So as we went back and forth, I said to Kenny, well, Kenny, I'm going to have a special power transformer designed that will give me two secondary voltages, one at 300 and one at 330. I'll put it on a toggle switch and we'll send it to Brad and let him decide which one he likes best. So, of course, being the guitar player that he is, Brad says, man, I like them both. I like this one for doing this and this one for doing that. I want both of them in there. So that's how the comfort and speed switch came to life. And all of the Z-Recs have that. And Synergy was able to incorporate that into the module. In the speed mode, you get a little bit higher plate voltage, which equates to a little bit more articulate, clean driving sound. In comfort, it's a bit softer, a little smoother, and a little bit more swell after the note is played, and a much nicer transition from clean to dirty. Synergy tried their best to make the Z-Rec module as authentic as possible. And they certainly did achieve that, not only with the comfort and speed, but also with using the tongue saw preamp tubes. When I received the module initially, it didn't have tongue saws. It had PS Vane preamp tubes. And I was like, if you really want to make it sound a lot more like a Z-Rec, you got to use the tongue saws because that's what I use exclusively in the Z-Wreck in all three positions. They're a little bit more brilliant. Boy, they certainly have a nice kind of English sound to them, and they work so well in the Z-Wreck module, and I'm so glad that they decided to use those because it really took it a step closer to the real amp. This module also has a very usable master volume, which allows you to kind of simulate that drive that the true Z-Wreck amp has at a more convenient volume level for yourself. And it also drives the phase inverter, just like the real amp does, and gives you that big full dynamic tone. I've been working with Synergy for a few years now because this module took some time and was challenging to develop. A lot of the Z-Wreck magic comes from the power section, but Synergy developed a unique phase inverter circuit for this module specifically that really kind of unlocked the magic of the Z-Wreck sound. There is an additional channel on this module, which is very nice because then you can go from a very pristine, brilliant clean to a nice little crunchy tone just by the use of your foot switch. And, it has an effects loop. All the Synergy units have an effects loop. So those are really the two major options that as an amp builder, I see people say they want. They want a great master volume and they want an effects loop. And this incorporates both of those. Initially, I had my doubts as to how close Synergy could come to the real Z-Wreck sound. And I'll tell you what, I was greatly surprised. They really did hit it out of the park. This module sounds great. So now players can afford to have a Z-Wreck in their Synergy group of amps. And it's a nice addition because it's not just a higher gain kind of module, which Synergy does so well. But this is really a very nice, clean, articulate sound. So you're going to find a nice place for that. So anybody with a Synergy system, pick up one of these modules. You'll enjoy it.